So here we're looking at trig equations, and it will be when we end up with a negative on this right hand side. So to start off with, we've got 6 sine x plus 1 equals 0. Now the same thing that we're always going to do is we want x equals on its own, and my answer will be an angle. So I'm going to subtract 1 first from both sides. That way I get 6 sine x is negative 1. 1 take away 1 is 0, and 0 minus 1 gives me that negative 1 there. I'm now going to divide both sides by 6. Alright, and that's that negative part I'm talking about. Finally, to get x on its own, I'm going to do the inverse of sine. So I'm going to have x equals sine inverse . Now this is where we type in the calculator. However, when you type that into the calculator, we do not enter that negative. So I am just going to type in the inverse 1 divided by 6 without that negative. And we should get 9.59, so we'll go with 9.6. That's degrees. Now we're going to our cast diagram. 6 and the city. Right, it is sine, so I would tick sine, and I would usually tick A. Okay, so you'll notice if it's tan, you were ticking T and A. If it was cos, it was C and A, sine, S and A. However, this time, that has a negative there. So I'm going to cross them out, and I'm actually going to go for the opposite. I'm going to go for T and C. So my two answers this time are going to be x equals 180, add the angle, which is 189.6 degrees. And my other one is 360 minus the angle. All right, let's do another one with sine, just to reinforce what we've done. All right, so the question will say solve this equation. So subtract 3 from both sides. Divide by 7. Inverse my sine. And then get our value on the calculator, and I am not typing in the negative, just 2 divided by 7. And for that I have got 16.6. Back to our cast. All right, so it's sine. So I would usually go for S and A, but we have a negative. That is a negative 2 there. So I'm actually going to cross them out and go for T and C. So my answers this time, x equals 180, add the angle. Adding those, I get 196.6. Now remember, you do have a calculator, so if you need to check that in the calculator. And the other one is 360 minus the angle. There we go. Right, let's look at it with a tan. Oh, we'll do a cos first. No, we'll do a tan first. We'll do a tan. Could do it with a tan. Right, let's go for 12 tan plus 7 equals 4. So subtract my 7. Sorry, that should have an X there. I'm too busy thinking of getting a summer tan. And reminder, we're not typing that negative in the calculator. We're doing inverse of tan 3 divided by 12. And we've just got 14 degrees. Going to our cast. Okay, it is tan. So I would usually tick T for tan and A, but I've got a negative fraction. So I'm going to actually cross them out and go for S and C. So the first one is 180 subtract. So 180 subtract 14. Sorry, that should be 166. And my other one is 360 minus. There we go. So my answer is 166 degrees and 346. Lastly, we'll do a cos one. Okay, and dividing by 8. Inverse. And typing in the calculator, so cos, and I'm not doing -3, I'm just doing 3 divided by 8. 67.97, so we'll make it 68 degrees. And our cast diagram. Now, you don't actually need to do the cast diagram every time, but I find it highly beneficial. So we've got cos, so that's C and A, but this is a negative, so it's not C and A, it's the opposite. It's S and D we're going for, so 180 minus 180 plus. So 180 subtract 68, which gives me 112, and 180 plus 68, which is 248.